special money from it. Look at that. Bury it. Oh, pardon me. And with just under a minute and a half to go on the warm-up clock, we will start our broadcast now. Thanks for joining us here on the channel. My name is Nathan Cron, and thanks for joining us here at Veterans Memorial Community Center. This is the bubble. This is the East Rink at VMCC, where the Spartacats of the u10B1 Blue Spartacats will be taking on the Hastings Raiders. These two teams have matched up earlier this season with a 2-2 tie. Spartacats outplayed the Raiders by all objective measurements except for that which was the most important, that is on the scoreboard. It was a 2-1 lead late, and the Spartacats unfortunately gave up a second goal very late in that game with probably about a minute and a half to go in the game. And the Raiders were able to claim a share of the points. And it was that started a little bit of the slide for the Spartacats as they, until recently beating the Valkyries this week earlier 1-0. They had, in their last four before that, had 2 losses and 2 ties. Very uncharacteristic of this team. The Hastings Raiders come into this one with a record of 5-6-1, and the last two for the Raiders, a 4-2 win over the Lakeville Ice Cats, and then most recently a 2-0 loss to the Valkyries. And so the Spartacats will be attempting to get back on track here. Spartacats will be wearing their home whites with the blue trim, red numbers. And the Hastings Raiders will be wearing their blue shirts with the yellow trim, yellow helmets. Second to last, this is the penultimate game for the Spartacats. They have one more district game after this before the district tournament. And that's against Cottage Grove, and that's next weekend. So the Spartacats need to take care of business here, need to win also next weekend, get a little bit of help, and we'll see where they end up for seeding purposes for the district tournament. They will be in the district tournament, and we plan to carry most of those games here on the channel. Might be some different announcers, different camera people, we'll have to see, but let's see what we've got for lineups. We've got, to start with, that is Bauman at center, Nelner far side, and Baker are your forwards, Shack and Scott your defenders. This is Wilhelm in net. Scott tries to feed that out, but it gets turned back in by the Raiders, right side of your screen. This is Nelner, puts the moves on, goes by one defender, can't get by the second though. Scott backs her up right below the camera. Bauman far side, switches, goes to the other side. Shack whips that one past Scott. I don't think Scott was waiting for that one. Nurka fresh off the bench, and she'll circle behind the net. Good forecheck that time by the Raiders. Steers it back going the other direction. Shack whips that one out, but that's going to be kept in at the point. Raiders send this one in towards Wilhelm. Takes a couple of bounces. Now it's loose. And now Natalie Bauman gets to it, taps it, and sends it out of the zone. Raiders go cross ice. And Nurka chases. Meller now on the ice. So only Bauman still on the ice from that original forward grouping. This is Eden Miller. Eden Miller, a little bit of a goal drought recently. Just comes steaming over the blue line. Gets it onto her forehand, shoots, bad angle, sticked aside that time by the Hastings goalie. Donahue tries to keep it in. Donahue and Cron now out, I think, on defense. Olsen, I think, on as a forward. We'll have to see where they all end up. Milner tries to pitch that forward. Donahue sweeps it with a backhand. Now comes to Cron. Cron picks out Miller. Miller can't handle that one. And she goes cross ice, but unfortunately for Eden Miller, nobody there as the Cats were changing. This falls kindly for Olsen. Olsen with her head up now, by one defender, has the burst, now brings it over the blue line. Marcel in her first action off the bench. She goes to the front of the net as Olsen circles. Milner also there. Opportunity for Marcel right in front. Milner sweeps that and it goes to the other side. And Miller could not unload the cannon. This call falls for Cron at the point. Cron with an opportunity. Cron shoots into a thicket full of Raiders. Cross ice pass. Opportunity. This one comes from Marcel, but she can't steer it on net. Milner fires. This one takes a deflection. Eden Miller tries to get to this one. Does momentarily. Whips this one in, but it hits again a defender. Marcel backhand at centering attempt. Doesn't claim it, but Marcel now feeds it again. Opportunity for Marcel. Shoots. Good save by the keeper. This is Cron from the point. She shoots. Opportunity as that goes wide. Miller couldn't get a stick on it. It's right in front. Substantial pressure here for the Spartacats. By my count, at least 3 shots on this sequence. There's another one. This falls, you say bad angle shots aren't necessarily shots. Look out. They are that time. They are when Eden Miller's taking them. Sorry about that, folks. Had a little bit of a camera kerfuffle. Have to talk to the production staff about it. Miller circles again. Raiders just need to get this out of the zone, and they finally do. Might even turn it into some offense as Cron's back. And claims it there, whips it to the far side. Fresh Raiders off the bench. Will keep it in momentarily at the far side. This is Cron. She's going to fire it up the wall. It's not going to make it out, though. Comes to the middle, takes a deflection. This falls nicely for Olsen. Olsen was feeling a little bit under the weather. Weren't sure if she was going to be able to go today, but she's a gamer. Olsen brings that over the blue line. Has Marcel to the middle. Olsen circles. Olsen still circling. Lays it up in front, and Baker had just skated a little too deep, as had Marcel. Hastings bringing that back the other direction. This one slides in, took a weird bounce, went between Wilhelm's legs, hit the pad and went to the far corner. Cats lucky that that did not end up in the back of the net. Needs to be better coordination there by the defense as Nurka with a deep forecheck. Bauman can't quite keep control of that one. Stays in momentarily for the Spartacats as Nurka steers it that way. And now it squirts out as Bauman battles far side, and Baker sends that in. Scott and Shack are your defenders. Good energy show so far by the Spartacats. That'll be icing. That will be icing against the, against the Hastings Raiders. And you're not imagining things. We've played almost 5 minutes of hockey before our first whistle, and now the Spartacats will have an offensive zone faceoff just to the right of the Hastings Raiders goalkeeper. Faceoff win nominally by Bauman, but it goes to Hastings. Hastings player falls down. Bauman tries a centering pass. Left side of your screen. Nelner's battling there too. Scott able to keep it in. This sends in. Opportunity. It's loose. Oh my heavens. A quick whistle. A very quick whistle. Somebody in a white jersey has got to get to these loose pucks. This one comes to the point. This is Zoe Scott. Scott flops one in. It's taken by the defense. Shack backs up. Now she changes her mind and goes the other direction. Shack pinching in, but that gets whipped down. That's going to be icing. against the Raiders, so we'll come back and do it again. 6:33 to go here in the first period. Shots 4-1 in favor of the Spartacats. Spartacats have had a couple of good shifts where they've really created some offensive pressure, but the Hastings Raiders have managed to get in the way of enough of these shots. This one comes to the point. Oh, Shaq tried to use that or skate, didn't come off though. This is Scott, sends it forward. Below the camera, Miller over the blue line. Eden Miller will have it taken away from her. As Nurka looks at it, this gets sent down the other direction. I don't think this is going to be icing. They are going to call icing. Yeah. As half the Spartacat team was chasing that puck, I thought for sure it might have hit somebody in that Spartacat group as Ruth Jaywar takes Melissa Wilhelm's spot. Excuse me. No cough button on this material. I don't know, and there's a mute button I'm told, but I haven't been known how to use it. Face-off win nominally that time by the Raiders, but again, another icing. So 3 quick succession icings. And after 5 minutes of nearly continuous hockey, we've had 3 whistles in about 32 seconds. Donahue, Nurka, and I believe that's Meller are your forwards. Olsen and Kron are your defenders. This falls for Miller. Miller shoots. Nobody's there, but the puck does stop in the crease. Stop in the slot. This call comes for Kron. Kron attacking to the side. Kron centering pass / shot. That's a shot. That's a frozen puck. Good job by Kron recognizing the opportunity. Olsen and Kron stay out there. New forwards in the form of Baker, Nelner, and Bauman for the Spartacats. Face-off win nominally by the Spartacats. Baker dispossessed far side. Hastings Raiders whip that around to the near side. Nelner with a chance at it. Whips a great centering pass. Opportunity for Bauman. She could not pull the trigger. She fanned on it. Shot from Baker. And another shot. 2 more shots. 1 more shot, excuse me. Bauman put herself in the perfect position for that puck. Was unable to come up with it, but if you're a Spartacat fan, more of that, please. Olsen pinches that forward. Baker keeps it in, wings it around the goal, takes a weird hop, rolls in towards the crease, falls for Baker nicely, and Baker shoots. And Bridget Baker flashing a little bit of offensive acumen here on this shift. Coaches are saying stay out, number 34, and why not? Shaq and Scott out there now as defenders. This one's going to go the other direction. It's going to be icing unless Zoe Scott can grow a pair of rocket engines out of her backside. So that's going to go all the way down to the other end again. And to borrow a phrase from the movie Top Gun, looks like the Hastings Raiders are totally defensive right now. Cats really have the momentum, but this is where the Spartacats have got to put one in the back of the net. Face-off win by Bauman, sends it for Baker. Baker centering pass opportunity. Bauman had a chance at it but could not unload the cannon. Shaq will pinch from the blue line, and that will go the other direction, and Zoe Scott will claim it. Scott with a head of steam. Scott through neutral ice. Runs into a lot of traffic. This one goes the other way. That's going to be icing. Oh, no, they're going to wave it off. They're going to wave it off. Referee immediately signaled that there was a touch on the way in. So Olivia Shaq with it. Feeds that forward, but it doesn't get out of the zone. Baker misses on that attempt. This one comes in towards Scott. Ruth Jaywar looking on from her perch. This is winged around for Bauman. Bauman near side. Bauman battles there. 2 Spartacats go down. Unlucky that time. Opportunity for the Hastings Raiders, and it goes begging. Kept in momentarily at the point by the Raiders. Falls nicely that time for Bauman. Sends it forward. Baker keeps it out of the zone. Sends it for Bauman again. Bauman now cuts to the middle. Lost a little bit of control there. Better communication there as the 4 Spartacats were going for that puck. Would have been nice if it had been a little clearer. I think one of them probably could have taken it and created offense. In any event, we play on. This one falls nicely for, that's Bauman. Marcel, excuse me, that's Nurka chasing far side. Nurka can't quite get to that one, but stops the rush. We're supposed to be playing hockey. I'm not sure why everybody was standing still. Bauman still out on the ice. Eden Miller with an opportunity. A defender falls, and Eden Miller has a chance to get this on net. She sends it on net, patted aside. Nicely done that time by the keeper. This is Bauman again, far side. She's been out there a long, long time, and that'll be icing. Against the Raiders, 3:06 to go here in the first period. Forwards will be Donahue, Nelner, and Baker. Okay, Baker. Defenders are Olsen and Kron. Shots 9-1 favor of the Spartacats. Centering pass from Baker, slides through, nobody there. Donahue tries to pinch on the near wall, gets it, sends it to the middle. Baker was there, but couldn't quite get to it. This one gets whipped hard out of the zone. This is Kron. Kron's on a stick handle there. Kron bangs that off the boards. Can't get it out though. Nelner lost her edge. Still hasn't gotten out. Cats need to get this out of their zone. Olsen can't skate that one out in that direction. Now she puck handles right through the middle. And Olsen with an opportunity. Had Baker far side, but here's Olsen with a flash of speed. Olsen in an opportunity for Olsen. Backhand opportunity. And I think a save by the keeper. I'm not sure if she missed it or not. We're going to call it a save anyway. Baker centering pass, but that one goes behind the net. Nelner pinching in. Nelner sends it in towards the middle. Nobody there in a white jersey able to get on it. Kron's being asked to come up from the blue line to send it in. She does. Rolls in just past the Raider cage. Near side, this is Nelner battling there as Baker's also there. Marcel fresh off the bench. She's in the far corner. Able to claim that one, backhands it in. This falls for nicely for Marcel, but she can't unload. Can't get that off of her backhand. Kron pinched in, but now the Raiders go the other direction. This is Scott. Good defense that time by Zoe Scott. Good poke check. Just over 90 seconds to go. Scott has the puck again. Ahead of steam. Scott through neutral ice. Scott over the blue line and offside. As the Spartacats with 1:27 to go. As the Spartacats with 1:27 to go realize that the blue line is there for a reason. A little more concentration. The Spartacats definitely the better team on the ice. Here's an Eden Miller interception. Opportunity for Miller. Miller shoots high and over the top. Eden Miller will be kicking herself for that one, not hitting the goal, hitting the net, and that's icing against the Raiders. 1:09 to go here, first period. Raiders have about the same number of players as the Spartacats, so both teams, with this up and down, with this pressure, both teams are going to need a bit of a breather here, and they'll get one here in 1 minute and 9 seconds of game time. Referees have to fetch the puck from the far end. Face-off win nominally by the Spartacats. Nurka loses it, but it comes to Scott. Scott whips that in towards the crease. Nobody there able to get a stick on it. Olivia Shack charges in from the blue line on the far side. Wins the battle there. Nurka behind the net. Nurka, will she have some magic? Backhand centering attempt broken up. Opportunity for the Raiders if they can get it out. They can't. It comes for Scott. Scott sends it down behind the Raider net. Less than 40 seconds to go. Raiders with it now. We'll just try to clear the zone. This is Eden Miller from behind the net where she scored so many goals. But this time the Raiders are able to be alert to the challenge. This is Scott with a pass/shot. Nice move there at the blue line. Almost a collision between two Spartacats. They need to get their communication right. Cats clear the zone. And it falls nicely. Only a few seconds left, and Scott sends that across. Miller will chase. Raiders will try to just eat the clock up. Kron's going to try to keep it in far side, but that's not going to work. And now we're into the last few seconds. And the second period will be forthcoming. Nothing on the scoreboard for these two teams. And the way that the Spartacats have played so far in this game, you have to wonder what in the world it's going to take for them to score consistently against Hastings. They dominated the last game they played at Hastings, out shooting the Raiders by a better than 2-1 margin. But the Spartacats, despite out shooting the Raiders 9-1 in that first period, unable to find the back of the net. However, a couple of things of note. The passes to the top of the crease or into the crease, this crossing passes, centering passes, were prevalent in that first period. If the Spartacats can get in front of the net with their sticks down, ready to simply deflect the puck, they don't even have to strike the puck very hard. They simply have to deflect it, and they should have some good success. Hastings Raiders will feel good that they got out of that period without conceding. You're outshot 9-1 and there's still zeros on the scoreboard for score. That's what you want. Raiders moving now right to left on your screen. Cats from left to right. 12 minutes on the clock. The puck is down and we are underway here. Second period action as Donahue, Nelner, and Baker are your forwards. Cron and Olsen your defenders. This is Maren Olsen. Circles behind the net. Now with a head of steam. Maren Olsen with a burst of speed. Takes on a couple of defenders. Now she cuts to the middle. Now she's going to go by a second defender. Maren Olsen to the middle. Opportunity for Olsen as she shoots and scores. Good gosh, Almighty Joe Friday. Maren Olsen lights the lamp end to end. And the Spartacats, on their 10th shot of the game, get the first goal of this contest. Vitamin C, we don't need no stinking vitamin C. Maren Olsen, again, as I said earlier, questionable for this game with an illness, but they're showing very little impact on her physical condition going end to end. Here's another opportunity for Nelner. Nelner intercepts the pass. Aurelia Nelner shoots, and that flies over the top of the net. Exciting stuff here as Nelner again whips that one on goal. There's a rebound, an opportunity, but nobody in white able to get to it. Nelner with a third time sends this one in, but this time it's blocked as Baker slaps at that one, trying to steer that in. Cron was going to try to keep it in. Olsen had pinched in also, and that's offside against the Spartacats. 11:10 to go here in the first period. Shack and Scott now on the ice for your defenders. Meller, Bauman, and Mercell your forwards. This one fed to the middle. This is an opportunity for Mercell. She runs into a brick wall with yellow and blue markings. And Olivia Shack has to circle back for this one. It's sent forward for Meller, but she can't handle. I thought that came out of the zone, but apparently not. I didn't see a signal from the referee. This falls nicely for Izzy Nurka. Nurka far side tries a backhand centering attempt, but doesn't come off. This is Meller. Meller far side. Gets it to sit down, centering attempt goes behind the net, hits the side of the net. Meller with another opportunity, and Nurka unable to finish there at the front of the net. This one's going to get out, and will find Zoe Scott. Scott circles, bangs that one in off the boards. And the Raiders on the far side. Nice job there by Mercell holding it in. It's a bit of a dog pile on the far side. Shack steps up to try to pick that one off. This one gets banged off the boards and goes in. Scott plays this one behind her own net. Sends it forward, but no wing is there. Nurka took a little bit of a bump from behind, but Alora Mercell's not chasing this one. I think she can catch it. Well, maybe not catch it, but it's not going to be icing as the Raiders were going. This is Shack from the point. Opportunity here for Nurka. Mercell sweeps at it. Nurka in the corner. Centering pass to Shaq at the point. Shaq sends it. Oh, good job by Shaq. There were a lot of bodies in her way. She was not going to get that shot. And finally it pops out as Nurka comes back to cover for Zoe Scott. Izzy Nurka with it now. Trying to hold on to it. It's hopping around on her a little bit. Good forecheck this time by the Raiders. Left side of your screen. Raiders take this one over. Comes to the point, held in by the Raiders. Raiders send this one in, slapped away by Scott. Another one comes to the middle. Scott with an opportunity, has a lot of open ice in front of her. Zoe Scott has that taken away from her, and now the Spartacats have got to rally. This one comes in towards Wilhelm. Big kick save by Wilhelm. Call that a shot on goal. Bauman chases there. It's on the far boards. Nurka now has it. Has to circle. Has Baker on the near side. Feeds it to her. Shot comes in. That was going wide. I'm not going to call, well, they're going to call that a shot. It was going to go wide, but we'll call it a shot. And that one rolls in on Wilhelm, and she has to reach behind her. Oh, bad camera work. Sorry, bad camera work. Bad camera work on my part. Sorry, folks, as I was trying to get the shots correct. But Wilhelm with a good save there. Had to reach behind her body to get to that puck to freeze it. Bauman, Baker, Nelner are your forwards. Cron out there. Opportunity. Cron denies and robs one of the Raiders with an opportunity. Cron steams through that one. Opportunity. Can Cron get to this one? Cron not screwing around. Cron taking that over the blue line. Cron keeps the legs pumping. Opportunity for Cron. Shoots and a good save that time. Rebound opportunity. It just slides wide. Tantalizingly close. Shot from the point. This one rolls in. Another opportunity. And Baker fans on it. Baker fanned on that one. It was sitting there. The net was wide open. Is it still in? It's not. It comes out. Bauman battling there. Sorry. Again, bad camera work on my part. Baker swings at that one and goes the other direction. Olsen ties that one up. Cron gets it out of the zone. Second period is the long change, so the Cats definitely need to make quick changes here. This one's taken by Olsen. Olsen brings that one over the line. Opportunity for Maren Olsen. Maren Olsen in with an opportunity. Shoots! And a save that time by the Hastings keeper. Shorted the Spartacats in one of those shots earlier. 14-4. Hastings has generated some offense, but the Spartacats have answered. Puck's down at the far side. Nurka, Donahue, and Miller are your forwards. Shaq and Scott your defenders. Hastings around one defender, but Izzy Nurka says, watch my back check. Probably can't use any more people in that corner. This one comes out for Nurka. Excuse me, I think that was Nurka. But they skate to the middle. Opportunity here. This one goes to the far side. Cats have got to do a better job of getting this to the outside. Donahue sends it out. I'm not sure this is going to make it. This is not going to make it for icing, as Eden Miller is breaking her neck to get there. Nicely done by Eden Miller. Almost created a scoring opportunity, and she may not be done yet. Shaq pitches in from the far side. All the Spartacat forwards were tied up there as Donahue was covering. This falls for Olivia Shaq. Shaq turns to her forehand. Whips that forward for Miller. Miller plays it to the middle, but no one's there. Let's see if Shaq is able to do this again. Shaq fans on this one. It falls. An opportunity for Wilhelm to make a save, and she does. Cats cannot turn the puck over. Here's a big opportunity, centering pass for the Raiders, but nobody there. Cats need to get it out. Nurka slaps at that one. Now it falls for Baker. Baker carries it momentarily, loses an edge. This is far side. Pass to the middle. And it ends up with the Raiders, and they send this down, and this will be icing against the Raiders with 5:49 to go. Not sure how I missed up that many seconds, but in any event, we play on. Ruth J. War takes the net for the Spartacats. Face off to the right of the goal. Baker, Nelner, and Murcell. That one just went wide. Surely the Cats have another goal coming in them very soon here. Here's an opportunity for the Raiders as they go around one defender. Cron recovers on the poke check. Good job. Raiders hold it in at the point. Cron has it there. Feathers it out, but it's kept in by the Raiders. Cron's got to find a new path. It's still kept in by the Raiders. Baker slaps at that one, sends it forward. Cron tries to get it out, digs it out. Here's an opportunity for Cron. She's got Nelner to the middle. Cron cuts it to the outside. Sends it in, but missed the net. Cron would like that one back. Nelner with a centering pass. Opportunity for Murcell as it falls nicely. This is Maren Olsen from the point. Olsen misses that one. Cron's going to have to break her neck to get there. Nelner's going back. Opportunity. Big save that time by J. War. Big save by J. War with 4:52 to go. Great back check that time by Nelner. Well, they're calling a penalty. Okay, they are calling a penalty on Nelner. Okay, all right. Interesting. I wasn't sure. I didn't see an arm in the air. So a 1 minute penalty against the Spartacats. Cats have to get the right number of skaters on the ice. Now they've got a 1 minute penalty up there. Bauman and Meller are your forwards. This falls for Shack and Scott. Again, Ruth J. War in net. Shack tries to get that out. Goes to the far side. Raiders hold it in. Raiders at the point send that in. It's parried away that time by Bauman. Bauman sends that one up the far side, and it falls nicely for Bauman. Falls now nicely for Meller. Meller by one defender. Meller with Bauman to the middle. Meller shoots, bad angle, hits a skate. I don't think that was a shot. I'm not sure if it hit a skater or if it hit the side of the net. And anyway, Eden Meller tries to keep it in. Shack now keeps it in, sends it in. Shack with it again, pinches it down deep. Meller centering pass, but there's nobody there. Girls, remember, you're down a player. It's going to be hard to find those centering pass opportunities. Bauman loses an edge there, goes down in a heap. Scott to the backhand. Penalty on Nelner is over. Nelner out on the ice. Oh, bad camera work. Sorry, folks. This is Nelner, far side. Bauman gets at it, pitches it out by Scott. Nelner will give chase. Scott again goes cross ice. Eden Miller will chase this one down. Left side of your screen. Shack pitches that forward, but it's held in by the Raiders. Centering pass, went off a couple of skates, finds Nelner far side. Nelner feeds, looks for Bauman. Bauman can't unload. Has Meller to the side, but she can't see her. It's dumped in, and the Cats will go for a change. Rapidly moving third period. Thought for sure the Spartacats would have another goal on the board by now, given the number of shots that they've had and opportunities that they've been able to take. That's back in. That's offside. But it falls nicely for Baker, and Baker feeds that forward. Puts a tape-to-tape pass on for Nelner. Nelner gets to the forehand. Nelner, strong skater. Nelner shoots, hits the side of the net. Somebody needs to be in front. Nobody is in front. The Spartacats, all three forwards down behind the red line. And now the Raiders go the other direction. Cron and Olsen are back. Time rapidly dwindling here in a second period. The score closer, frankly, than it should be. This one falls for Baker. Baker gets on the other end of that one. Tries to send a pass over to Nurka, who's off the bench, but that's intercepted. This is Olsen. Olsen goes cross ice to Baker. Baker with an opportunity, feeds it forward. Good job by the Spartacats getting it out of the zone. Unlucky they were not able to turn that into some offense. Battle there for Baker. This goes far side. Nurka will give chase as Donahue comes to the bench for a change, and Murcell takes her place. Raiders steam across the blue line. This falls for Cron. Cron with eyes of a Kinder Bueno, dancing in her, thoughts of a Kinder Bueno, I should say, dancing in her head. Here's Cron to the side. Cron with an opportunity. Cron shoots. That was a shot on goal. The first for the Spartacats in a while. Cron down deep. Someone's got to cover for it. It's Eden Miller. This one's kept in front by the Hastings Raiders. Falls for Olsen. Olsen far side. Olivia Shack now on the ice. Olsen feeds that for Miller. Miller brings that across the blue line. Eden Miller has it on the backhand, sends it in. Bad camera work, but a good shot by Miller. 58 seconds to go. Shots are about 2-1 in favor, a little better than 2-1 in favor of the Spartacats, but they've got to get more goals on the board. This is what happened the last time these two teams played in Hastings. The Raiders stuck around and stuck around and stuck around, and eventually were able to get a tie. Miller couldn't chase that one down. This is Nelner far side working it. This one falls weirdly for Scott. It hops out over the top. This is Scott. Sends it forward for Marcel. Marcel touch pass looking for Nelner in the middle. That was pretty. Didn't come off, but it was pretty. That one gets out of the zone. Fortunately, Miller pitches that forward for Marcel. Marcel's trying to get a centering pass to Nelner, but it's not happening. This is Shack who whips that into the Hastings Raiders zone. Less than 20 seconds to go now here in this second period. Raiders will try to just keep it out. Shack will pinch in. Opportunity for the Spartacats if they can come to the puck, but too many Spartacats on too far away, and this will find neutral ice, and we will find the end of the second period. Olivia Shack brings that across, but again, there's not enough time for anything to happen here. As we head to the third period, Spartacats clinging to a 1-0 lead. And I have to tell you, anything less than a win in this situation will be doubly frustrating for the girls in white, as they have outplayed the Hastings Raiders from start to finish, but they have got to put the puck in the back of the net. Wilhelm back in goal for the Spartacats. Cron and Olsen your defenders. Miller, Bauman, and Nurka your forwards. Cats will be going from right to left. Third period action here in this penultimate district game. One more after this. The Cats really want this one for seeding purposes, and they'll have to do it by getting a couple more goals. The Hastings Raiders have not gone away in this game. This is Nurka behind the net, feeds to the far side. Miller catches, tries to feather that along for Bauman, but it doesn't quite come off. Good forecheck that time by the Raiders. Bauman far side, can't get that out. This is a big step here for Olsen. Olsen keeps that on her stick and gets it out. This comes in for Cron. Cron parries that into the corner. Cron with it, bangs that off the boards for Nurka. Nurka gets that out to neutral ice. It falls nicely for Eden Miller. Eden Miller brings that over the blue line. Miller can't control. Nurka went the same direction. And Nurka and Miller kind of occupied the same space there. This is Bauman. Far side opportunity for good setup that time, as Bauman found Miller on the far side, but nice goalkeeping keeps Eden Miller off the scores table. Score sheet. Not the scores table, score sheet. Opportunity, another shot from Nurka. The shots start to pile up here early in this third period. Miller with an opportunity. Nurka with a chance. Here's Miller again from behind the net. Oh, she was trying to score from behind and shot it right through the crease. Raiders offside at the moment. Now they bring it back in. This is Olsen. Falls nicely for the Raiders. This one's banged off the boards far side by Cron. Cron again gets this one out. Cron will chase. Cron will pump her legs. Opportunity for Cron. Cron walks in, shoots, and shoots it wide. Cron's got to hit the net there. We'd like to see her score, but Lauren Cron with a little bit of I don't want your life. And the Spartacats with 9:58 to go, some grade A scoring opportunities. If the Cats fail to convert on these opportunities and they don't end up winning this game, it will be absolutely crushing. Raiders behind the net, try to skate that one out, feeds to the far side, pinch in by Shaq. Puck gets flopped up in the air, and now the Raiders will attack. Nelner, this is Scott and Nelner, now Nelner with it again. Goes around one defender, now she goes around a couple other defenders. Lots of defenders there in the way as Nelner drew quite the crowd. This falls for Scott, but nobody's in front. Scott shoots, but again, it's going to be parried away that time by the defense. Nobody in front of the net. Big step up by Shaq, far side, nicely done. It gets out to neutral ice, and now Shaq and Donahue will have to check back. Shaq, good job getting back for that. Can't get that out of the zone. Baker tries, but this one will go behind Wilhelm, and Zoe Scott will claim it. Raiders hold it in momentarily at the blue line. It's sent out. That hit a puck on the way. That's not going to be icing. That is not icing as it hit one of the Raiders on the way out. Nelner with a deep forecheck. Mercell and Miller off the bench. This one falls for Scott. Scott holds the blue line, sends it across, could not get it all the way over to Mercell on the far side. Nelner. Miller with a shot, a wicked shot. And 8:33 to go. And an offensive zone faceoff. Cats are not screwing around. They are putting shots on the net. Mercell in the middle. Check it, that's Bauman. That shot comes in, goes wide. Another centering pass opportunity. Hit the side of the, I can't tell if it's hitting the side of the net or not. I think that one hit the goalie's pads. This falls for Nurka. Nurka feathers that in with a backhand. This is Mercell who tries to go the other direction. This is Cron from the point. Opportunity for Nurka who sends it on but can't hit the cage. Goes to the far side. This is Cron, will try to hold it in. Cron's gonna have to battle there. Does, nicely done, holding it in at the point for Lauren Cron. Guess what? She's gonna have another chance, but this one's gonna be taken by the Raiders and slapped out to neutral ice. Olsen will chase. Cron's also back. Olsen whips this forward. Taken by the Raiders in their own zone. Nurka, Miller, and Mercell, your your forwards. Kept out of the zone that time by the Spartacats. Now behind Wilhelm's cage. Check it, it's still Wilhelm's cage, yep. Cron had it there, big opportunity there for the Raiders, but they're unable to convert. Battle there in the corner. Raiders try to dig that one out on the point. And they get it out. This is Eden Miller. Can Eden Miller get to this puck before it goes over the end line? And she can't. Unlucky for Eden Miller. Great effort there, and it'll be icing against the Spartacats. So the Spartacats, with just under 7 minutes to go, need to find the back of the net. Probably, to be safe, at least 2 more times. Baker, Bauman, and I think Nelner are your forwards. Shaq and Scott, your defenders. This one behind the net, down into the corner near side here for Scott. Sends it out, but it's blocked and kept down. Bauman gets that out. Raiders have to retreat. They do. This is Shaq far side. Shaq whips that out high, up and off. Opportunities, it hops over everybody. Bauman's going to give chase, but she's not going to get to that one. But it falls nicely for Nelner. Nelner with a chance. Nelner in. Nelner shoots. Sprays that just over the top of the crossbar. Spartacats just have to hit the net on some of these shots. Here's another opportunity. That's a save. That was going to go in. Shaq holds the point. This to the middle. Opportunity here for Bauman. Backhand opportunity, and that goes wide. Raiders will try it again. This time they get it out. If it makes it, it'll go for icing, but I think Scott's going to catch it. Scott is going to catch it. Scott around her cage. It's Ruth J. War now. Oh, checking, it's Wilhelm. It's not J. War. Sorry. I thought I'd heard a switch, but I didn't. That puck sped out towards Baker. Baker can't control that one on the far side. Falls for Shaq, who tries to get it out. This is Scott behind the net. Scott looks up, sends it towards Nelner, but it's intercepted. Smartly done that time by the Raiders defense. Nelner and Scott battle there as Bauman looks on. Baker and Bauman now come to the bench as Nelner gives chase. And that's not icing. No icing of the puck there. Miller, far side, right in front of the Hastings bench. Goes back towards Cron. Cron with some open ice. Cron's gonna carry this puck. Cron trying to get to the middle, wants to unload, cannot get it off, but it falls nicely that time for Bauman. And Bauman is able to follow up and hit a nice shot. Cron's thinking Kinder Bueno afterwards. Who knows, maybe she's even thinking Dairy Queen, I don't know, we'll have to talk to her parents. Nurka, Donahue, and Miller your forwards, Cron and Olsen your defenders. This is Nurka, sends that down in for Miller. Miller with a backhanded centering attempt, but it hits the side of the net. Whoops. Near side. Puck now rolls behind the net. Miller's going to get to this one, sweeps at it. Ooh, just a little lost control of it. Unlucky that time for Miller as she does some of her best work behind the net. Nurka with a chance. Nurka there has a chance. Fades the point. Donahue was high. Flops all the way over for Cron. Cron far side. Cron kept it in, but turned it over to the Raiders. But now she sweeps with the poke check. It falls nicely one more time for Cron. Nurka was in the way. Cron tries a centering pass. Another centering pass, but again, nobody there in white to get to it. Donahue is covering for Cron. Donahue holds the point. This is Cron again, whips it in. Again, nobody there. There needs to be a forward there. Donahue and Nurka almost collide. Centering pass opportunity, and Cron able to get on the other end of that one. And now she needs to get back into position as Donahue covers for her. Raiders bring this across the blue line. Ruth J. War now in net for the Spartacats. Cron feathers that along into the near corner. This falls nicely for Maren Olsen. Olsen evades one defender. Maren Olsen with a head of steam. Maren Olsen has a chance. Gets to on her forehand. Maren Olsen shoots, scores! Maren Olsen with a brace, and the Spartacats take a 2-0 lead. That's been coming. The Spartacats absolutely needed that, as the Raiders have not gone into the good night softly and won't die, metaphorically of course. Raiders still not out of this hockey game, as the Spartacats, despite outshooting the Raiders 25-7, have not been able to convert on a number of opportunities. Battle for, this falls nicely for Marcel. Marcel an opportunity. That one goes just wide. Baker will chase. Shaq pinches in. Shaq on the half wall far side. This one gets sent out, and I think Scott's going to get to this one first. Scott's going to touch it. Circles behind. J. War loses control, but she's got two deep forecheckers. Nelner has it, needs to poke that out. Shaq chases this one behind J. War. Sends it forward, but that was taken by the Raiders. This falls nicely for Scott. Cats need to just get it out of their zone. The net is empty for the Hastings Raiders on the other end. Empty net for the girls. Not sure if they know that or not. They just need to skate it and get it out of the zone. Baker just needs to hit it out of the zone. It's still not out of the zone. Just needs to get out of the zone. Now it clears the zone. Here's a chance for the Spartacats. If they can get this puck, control of this thing. Shack with it, tries to go the other direction. Shack carries, near side. Olivia Shack over the blue line. Shack to the middle, taken away by Marcel. And that slides all the way out of the zone. Scott's got to wait for everybody to get out of the zone. They're still not out of the zone. Baker's not out of the zone. And offside against the Spartacats will bring a neutral zone in face-off with 1:37 to go. Meller, Bauman, and Nurka, your forwards. Cron and Olsen, your defenders. An empty net for the Hastings Raiders. Spartacats absolutely should be shooting for this goal as Nurka wins that faceoff, sends it forward, goes the other direction. It's claimed this time by Bauman, who can't get to it, but that's sent down. That should be, no, they've waved off icing. They've waved off icing, and now Olsen's got to circle Jay War's cage. Olsen with an opportunity. This rolls in tight. This is Cron. Cron with an opportunity to get out of the zone. She shoots from distance. Is this going to make it? Yes, it's going to make it. It's going to make it all the way down for icing as Cron says, enough of this foolishness, and ices the puck. Probably a bit aspirational by Cron, but you like the awareness. Hastings Raiders need 2. They need 2 in the last minute and 10 seconds. Oh, shot on Jay War. I'm not sure. Jay War's head was turned this direction. I'm not sure Jay War saw that puck until it hit her pads. Big shot that time. That was an excellent shot for the Raiders. This puck is down. Now an opportunity for the Raiders as they tee it up. It's sent in with an opportunity. Another chance for the Raiders. Cats just need to get it out of their zone. This is Olsen. Olsen is on a hat trick. Olsen through neutral ice. Olsen with an opportunity, and Olsen salts it away! Maren Olsen gets the hat trick, her first hat trick in a district game. And Maren Olsen scores all 3 for the Spartacats, giving them surely the win that they deserve today and tonight, out shooting the Hastings Raiders 26-10. Credit to the Raiders, they have not gone away in this game despite being offensively challenged. They have battled throughout this entire game and have made it really, really interesting. But the appropriate goal by Maren Olsen, an opportunity and another goal! A miscue on the back line, a loose puck. Hastings goalie covering her face, but I'm not sure it was her fault or her defense's fault. Couldn't tell who was responsible for that one. And suddenly we go from a nail-biter 2-0 opportunity for the Raiders to score with the extra attacker. Now we're looking at a 4-0 game. And frankly, from my perspective, that's about where it's been. And we're going to have a penalty now against the Spartacats as soon as they touch the ice. And Jay War, I'm not sure if they're going to call I believe, I'm not sure if it's Nurka or Baker. I couldn't tell who it was. Might be Shack. Yep, it's going to be Shack. So Shack is going to go for the next 15 seconds. And the Raiders take the face off. Baker still not sure if she's supposed to be on the ice. Now she knows she's got to come off. Donahue just tries to push this into the corner. Cron with it there. Donahue and Cron battle there. The Raiders feed the point. Comes out to the left side of your screen. Whipped in that time by the Raiders, but it doesn't find the crease or the net. Sent to the near side. Just a few ticks of the clock left. And an opportunity for the Spartacats to claim a victory. A home victory for the Spartacats. again, with the good energy, the good offensive opportunities that they've had tonight, you'd like to have seen it result in a few more goals. And at the end, finally the Spartacats getting 4 against the Raiders. That's probably an appropriate number given the domination of shots on goal and scoring opportunities. Cats will have to up their game as they head in towards districts. Again, they take on the Park Cottage Grove Wolfpack, a team they've played twice. Pack have beat them once, and the Spartacats have won once. So the rubber game will be this week. Stay tuned on the channel for further games there. Thanks for joining us on the channel, everybody. Final score.